Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's our whole story in 31 seconds. Thank you for coming here today. I'd just like to let you know that I'm here with our Chief Geologist, Mr. James Dick, who's sitting in the front row. And after my presentations, if you have any technical questions, I will refer them to him so I don't embarrass myself with any wrong answers. So I'll begin the presentation. As you know, we presented here in April of 2010, and at the time we had the first ever hydrocarbon reconnaissance permit in Liberia, number 001, after I'd found some oil seeps there. And until early July of last year, that was the only asset that we had in the company. But we were not sitting on our laurels. We spent most of our time in Africa applying for and trying to acquire production sharing contracts. And last year was a very pitiful, big time for us in our company. We got 3 production sharing contracts in about 4 months. In July of last year, we signed 60% of the Bovie Basin in Guinea. August 3rd, we signed our production sharing contract in Kenya. And on that announcement, our stock dropped 50%, which was quite ridiculous if you look at the Kenyan situation today. And on October 19th of last year, we received our Block 3 in Mali. And I'll just proceed to the formal part of the presentation now. Just very briefly on our capital structure, we are a Toronto Stock Exchange venture-listed company. In the last year, we've done a substantial financing, we've acquired assets, and now we qualify for a main board listing, and we have begun that process. Hopefully, we'll have that process finished early in the new year. And at that time, if the market's right, if things are much better, if the Eurozone doesn't melt, we may even consider a UK AIM listing. Currently, although this says 11 cents, yesterday our share price closed at 14 cents. We have a lot of UK investors, a few are here today. We have a growing list of institutions, which we're very, very happy about. And we are on probably 1 or 2 days of the week, one of the volume leaders on the Toronto Stock Exchange, so we have a very, very liquid company. So I'll try and use this gizmo. Okay, there it goes. So right now, the areas in green are the countries that we're in. Originally, we started in Liberia, right here. We also have an application in Ghana for what we believe is a massive potential gas find, but the bureaucracy is moving slowly, but it's something that we're still pursuing aggressively. Our first PSC that we signed was 60% of Blocks 1 and 2 in Guinea, which are, we believe, there are prolific seeps. And then also here in Kenya, we got Block 2A, which we have 100% of. It's one of the newest PSCs in Kenya. It's one of the few that has an extensive amount of seismic on it. And we are very privileged and lucky that we have a company you're familiar with, Afrin, as our northern neighbor, Africa Oil and Marathon, and to our west, both substantial groups. I won't speak to the technical merits of the property, but the last few months, all the talk has been about the Tullow Oil, Africa Oil discovery in Kenya. It's done tremendous things for our company, made financings easier. It's brought us a lot of positive attention. It is our premier asset at this point. It is the asset where we've done our first exploration program, which is a passive seismic survey. We finished that about 2 weeks ago. We should have the results sometime in October. We also did a geochem over the property at the time. And again, sometime in October, early November, we should have those results. And we've also, for Kenya, first for us, we've hired Ernst & Young as our global oil advisors to manage the farm-out process. And we have had, to our shock and surprise, major companies come to sign CAs with us and work with us. Some of them wanting to do it on an exclusive basis, which is nice, but we'd rather have a competitive bidding process for the farm-out. We're hoping that when our data room is finished, which should be this week or early next week, the companies interested in this asset will take a look, and hopefully we can begin serious negotiations with one. That is the next major event for the company. It will be transformational for us because we will have a substantial asset with hopefully a large international company that will drill it. And we believe we have a tremendous prospect in Kenya, and I can let Jim speak to that later. This is our Monet interpretation of the seismic lines. This is something we put together. It's got three areas that we believe, one here, which was drilled by Amoco, this one by Chevron. I think this also was, this area number 3 was also drilled by Amoco. On our block, we've got 2 basins. In the corner here next to Africa Oil and Marathon, it's the Anza Graben. And over here in the center, south from Afrins, right through our property and down to the south of Kenya, is the Mandera. And this area number 1 is our first prospect. We've done a lot of work on it in the last 8-9 weeks with our passive seismic survey, and we're very, very anxious for the results for that to come in. And we hope there'll be fantastic results that will move us closer to a drill target. This is the passive seismic equipment on our block being calibrated in the morning before they go out. We have lots of these pictures, and there's some on our website and on our Facebook page. Lots of wild animals out here, giraffes, hyenas, lions. Luckily, I haven't seen too many of those. And I want to do this presentation quickly so we have a bit of an question and answer session. Our next asset is Guinea. We were very, very fortunate. We got into Guinea for almost no cost. I guess because we're a small company with, with a small budget, we have to be creative in how we finance these things. And we went in and rescued a company called Simba Energy out of Luxembourg that was in the process of defaulting on their PSC. And after some rigorous negotiations, we paid them the total sum of $0 for the privilege of acquiring 60%, but with a commitment to spend $500,000 in the first year after government approval. We've just received government approval on our farm-in a few months ago, I think. And Jim and I will be in Guinea in October to present to them our initial exploration plan for Guinea. Guinea, we think, is a tremendous asset. It has prolific oil and gas seeps. Jim was just last month doing a small survey on the property and found seeps everywhere he went, tested it for mature oil. We think onshore West Africa is one of the hidden gems that nobody's gone after, which is fine for us because we're happy to take it. It's low cost, and we think it has a billion-barrel potential. And we always said we think West Africa onshore along the margin has billion-barrel potential, but no one believed us. But it was very nice when a few months ago one of the majors that produces over 1 million barrels a day invited us for a meeting and asked us for data, and we said, no, we have no data. We can't prove what we're saying, but we believe that so because some of the indicators are there, initial indicators are there. And their response was, well, we have a lot more data than you do, and we like it a lot more than you do. So that kind of third-party, what's the word I'm looking for? Agreement is nice to have. This is some of the seeps that we have found and some of the historical areas of the seeps. It's everywhere you walk. Many of the locals can't drink the local water because when they dig a water well, it gets contaminated with oil seeps. Terrible for them, wonderful for us. You can all pick up a copy of this presentation off our website, so I won't go in and read this to you and bore you. It's on our website if you need it. Our next asset is Block 3 in Mali, which it's an asset that I'm absolutely excited about, passionate about. It was a block that E&I spent $11 million shooting seismic on. Tremendous targets, structures. For a small company like ours, we beat 10 other bidders on that asset in the round. We felt great, and we were just about to make a move after being awarded the project, and then the Africa being Africa, TIA, the rebels got in the way. So it's on hold. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know if in a year from now we will be there or we will drop it. It's too difficult to say. It would break my heart if we did, because I spent a lot of time in Mali with the government and with other people trying to make the best exploration plan we can. We'll see what happens, but this is Africa and you don't get everything you want in life. And then our first real asset that we had was, if you were here 2 years ago, you heard my story about dealing in mining diamonds and finding oil. And 2 years ago, when I presented, offshore Liberia, there were all these unknown companies that no one had heard of, and there was really no legitimacy to any oil being found in Liberia. And we were very lucky in that some of the majors, Chevron and Exxon, have come in directly across from us and acquired the offshore blocks and paid tens of millions of dollars for each one. So for us, it reaffirms our belief that there's a tremendous amount of oil. It's a wonderful asset. At the current time, we've gone about 99% of the way through to getting our production sharing contract in Liberia. I really don't think there's much we can do except wait for the Liberians to sort out their issues on the petroleum law and how they want to proceed with the petroleum industry in their country. African Petroleum down here has made a major discovery. There's been another discovery up here, and of course 3 discoveries right across the border in Sierra Leone, which validates that the basin that we're on has a tremendous potential for oil. If we won the lottery tomorrow, I would buy a truck-mounted rig and punch some holes. I'd wildcat it. We believe that we could probably get the first commercial oil out within 2 years of hitting something there. And I can talk to you more about that afterwards. I put this slide in to basically show you that after the conference we're still working. We're not just going to go home. The investor site visit, it's actually not our site visit. We're not inviting anyone to Kenya. Please don't come up to our office there. It only fits 2 people anyway. We're going there at the request of Merrill Lynch, and we're presenting to a lot of their investors and exposing our company. We will be presenting our Kenyan exploration program to the government in November. Our first exploration program was 2 years long in Kenya, and we just finished our commitment for the first 2 years in the first year. So we're very, very happy about that. We could coast and do nothing for a year and save some money, but we'd rather not. We'd rather shoot some seismic, get a partner, and drill it like a Swiss cheese and hit some oil. We think we have as good a prospect as Africa Oil and Tullow does, and Jim can speak about that later. Guinea, we're meeting with the government. Mali, we'll wait and see. And Liberia and Ghana, and my apologies, I made this presentation very, very jet lagged, and I forgot to insert the Ghana slide. Ghana, we have been, well, I've made 4 trips to Ghana this year to meet with Ghana National Petroleum Company, and we're in negotiations, but they have issues where we've applied, in that we're the first company in 28 years to apply for there, and after we applied, 30 other companies came in as well. And so being a pioneer, you either strike gold or you get the spear. So we're hoping not to get the spear, get the PSC award in the next few months, we hope. And over there, we think we have a multi-TCF gas play. And as far as when we're a little bit farther ahead, we have a lot of great technical data on Ghana. We'll put that up on our website, but we don't feel it's appropriate to do that now. And then there's the management. The management hasn't changed in 2.5 years, and I won't bore you with reading about them right now. You can read them on the website, or if you have any questions and you don't get to talk to me, send an email to info@simba.ca. It's on our website, and I can answer you back. And then the last thing is a lot of companies talk about is the corporate social responsibility. We don't really call it that. We, on an ongoing basis, if somebody needs help, we always help them. We've rebuilt schools. We've vaccinated thousands of children. We've bought school books. Right now in Kenya, I'll be going to Kenya in early October. In Wajir, the town that sits on our block in Kenya, we are working with the government to vaccinate several thousand of the local herdsmen's animals, because it's a direct benefit to them. It lessens the chances of the animals dying, and they can have more babies, they can have more meat down the road. And so that's the sort of thing that we do. It's very low cost. We probably spend under $20,000 on that program in Kenya, and we spend roughly between $80,000 and $100,000 a year on this sort of activity. Very, very focused, working with the local communities. And again, I can answer questions about that later if you like. And that's basically our presentation. So I hope I haven't bored you too much. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Any questions?
No questions.
Yes. Just right now.
I just wondered what sort of level you expect to farm down to in Kenya.
Well, farming down in Kenya is it's going to be a difficult issue for me personally. The chairman of my company, Mr. Burns, who is a brilliant financial person, used to work here in Barclays Commodities Unit in the 1990s. He ran it, is giving me a lot of pressure that I have to make the best deal ever in Kenya. And so minimum, we'd probably want a 2 to 3 well carry. Part of the strategy is let Tula have another strike, add a bit more value in the time that Ernst & Young is in the farm-up negotiations. At the end of the day, we'll take the best deal the market will offer us. But it would be very ridiculous for a company of our size, of our budget, to be the operator. So if we can get a minority interest in a carry, 49%, with a carry all the way through to the second or third well, that would be fantastic.
Other questions? Over here.
2 brief questions for you, if I may. The first one concerns Mali. How much do you think you've lost that the Islamists, I think, will not go away for some time? And secondly, on your Kenya block, there was a while ago, there was up on the website a comment that you could have over 3 billion barrels on the block, and there was somebody who'd issued a report indicating that. Would you care to comment?
Sure. On Mali, we run this company very cheap. So as an example, we did not spend millions of dollars in Mali. We spent a very small amount of money in Mali. And we have a maintenance of, I think it's about $3,000 a month to keep our staff fed and looked after there. I don't know what's going to happen politically. I hope that there's not a big war. I hope somebody has peace discussions quietly someplace. They resolve this issue and we go to work. But financially, the company's not at risk with Mali. Kenya, the risk reserves, I think, was 1.9 billion by Sproul, which is a very respected Canadian engineering company that writes CPRs for companies all over the world. When I say we, I mean Jim. Jim thinks that they were ultra-conservative. We think we have a fantastic property. We have 3 main targets, 2 other minor targets, and our block needs an extensive amount of exploration in it. But we're prepared to, do that. Now, the nice thing about Kenya is that we have been approached, very quietly by majors who like it more than we do, who think it's great. And we've had 2 companies approach us to negotiate on an exclusive basis, and we've turned them down. It would be easy to take a good deal, but I don't think it's the best deal we could make for our shareholders. And being a shareholder, I want to get the best possible deal. And we have a bit of an advantage in Kenya. If we have 3 billion barrels, and if the majors think we have 3 billion barrels, we're not going to give it away cheap. Not if we can help it. Any other questions?
So turning to Liberia, your onshore acreage, obviously a lot of the offshore acreage is held by the majors. Can you talk a bit about who holds the onshore acreage around you?
The onshore acreage or offshore?
Onshore.
We own 100%.
Sorry, and the blocks surrounding your acreage.
Oh, the offshore.
On the onshore.
There are no other companies. The onshore, we are 100%. We got it all.
Of your block, but what about the other blocks surrounding you?
There are no other blocks. We got the basin. The rest is rock. Somebody wants the rock, they can have it.
Thank you.
Offshore, we have Exxon and Chevron. And I'll tell you, Chevron is extremely interested in our onshore block. They regularly invite myself and Jim for lunch or to share data. Can we talk? I went last year, we flew in July last year for negotiations in Liberia with NOCAL, and we were told by NOCAL that Chevron had gone to every student we had hired in our oil seep survey and interviewed them, and they had sort of done their own oil seep survey unofficially. So that makes me very happy. When we get this block issued to us officially, I'm sure they'll be knocking on our door, and I'm sure my shareholders will be very happy if they take a run at us or farm into us. Any other questions?
Yes, can you just tell us something about your financial situation, how much cash you've got, and what your current burn rate is?
Thank you. We spent the day yesterday with, 10, 15 brilliant financial people at Nomura we were giving a presentation to, and that was the first question everybody asked. So I'll answer it the way I answered it with them. In Simba, since 2009, we've raised approximately $10 million. We raised most of that $10 million this year. So we got most of our assets with approximately $4.5 million over 2.5 years. So today, we are sitting on most of the money that we raised this year. So we have a cash position right now about $4 million and change. So we've never been stronger, we've never had more assets, we've never had more money. Which is funny because the first 2.5 years we were struggling and just to keep everything going and build a company. Now it's gotten a little bit easier and we're getting offers of financing every day. And so we're very content. And on the financial side, like I said, we run the company very cheap. We have a very low burn rate compared to a lot of companies. We used to run the company at about 30 to 40,000 burn rate per month. We're a lot higher now because we have a lot more people in Kenya, in Guinea. We're doing a lot of activity. So our burn rate's between 60 and 80,000 a month. So we could run the company for 3 years if we just sat at home and watched television. But we'll, you know, being the kind of a company that we are, we'll probably spend it all on some ridiculous like seismic in Kenya to get a drill target.
Good. Well, thank you very much indeed, Hassan.